YouTube? This is Joey from ThirdDuelist, and today I'm bringing you an updated version of my hero deck profile. I just want to thank you guys first off for giving this one so much love. It's easily got the most views of everything because we got it up as soon as it came out. But regardless, thanks for all the suggestions, everything. Some of them I've understood and liked, and others I haven't. But I'll talk about that through the video. So we'll just get into the deck profile. Start with the main. We have our monsters. To start off, we have 3 Hero Shadow Mist. This hasn't changed, obviously. This is your best monster. You never want to draw this, but you want to special off a Summoner Monk and things like that. It's just really good as your searcher. You need to play it at 3, in my opinion. And it's just a really, really powerful card, so we'll just leave it at that. Next, still the same, we have 3 Bubble Man. Bubble Man is just a really good card for your Xyz plays. It also helps you make your Acids and your Ab Zeros, which are also really powerful. So I really like Bubble Man at 3, especially if you top deck this or a Searcher, you can get some free advantage. But it's just a really powerful card. It helps make your Xyz plays, like I said. And it's a water, which really, really is helpful because Acid hurts Cliff Orts a lot, and it doesn't really help against the Necros matchup, but whatever. Still nuke their board. Next, first change is to Alias. Alias is just kind of there. It's a light. Bring off Summoner Monk if you really, really want to, but it's a bad idea because you have Shadow Mist. But if you're like out of targets, whatever, you can do that. It's just 1900 beater. It's a light. I cut this down because I don't want to see it that much, and I found myself drawing it way too much with it at 3. And it's okay, but it's really the best light there is, just being 1900 and not really doing anything else. But regardless, it's still able to beat over a lot of things, and it does give you life for BLS and your Shining, so that's always good. That's all the heroes we play. We've cut the Voltic too because it's really inconsistent. But next we have 2 Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk's an awesome card. You want to open this as much as possible. Like literally every game you want to open this card because you play tons of spells, so it's always live. And you just get your Shadow Mist, get the Mass Change, and just go off from there. It really helps you get into your Dark Law quick. Helps you make your Xyz plays when you need them. It's a really solid card. I'd play 3 if I could, but sadly it's limited. So 2 Summoner Monk. And then the last monster we play is the BLS because we play Lights and Darks. As I've said before, my favorite play with this deck is to make a revolval chain and stack this, and then you can just go from there. It's BLS, and being able to stack a BLS is phenomenal to begin with. And then it's just awesome. If you can play it because you're playing Lights and Darks, you have to play it. So sitting here, so all the monsters, we're down to 11. Onto the spells. 3 Mass Change. It's a masked hero deck. I don't feel like it needs explaining. It's a Mass Change, that's all I'm going to say. To accompany it, we have 2 Mass Charge. Mass Charge is great. It gives you a +1, but it's powerful. It's a really powerful card, but you don't want to see this too much. And sometimes you don't want your heroes in your hand. You want them engraved to banish off Miracle Fusion, or you want them to banish for BLS or things like that. So sometimes you don't even want to add a hero back, but it's really great for recycling your Mass Changes. And it's a really powerful card for getting heroes back, like when you can use them, or if you want to just make another Dark Law for free. Like, it's really powerful, but it can clog at 3, and you don't always want to bring your heroes back to hand, which is why I only play 2. Onto some more hero fusion cards. 3 Miracle Fusion. Miracle Fusion is fantastic. I'm going to play 3 of this card always just because it's so great for getting things out and just being able to bring something out for free just off of 1 card. It's great, especially since you're going to be filling your graveyard pretty quick with this deck, going through your resources. So this is just a really powerful card, being able to make pretty much whatever you want out of your extra deck, and then you can Mass Change it off for things. So Miracle Fusion is just really great. In my opinion, you have to play 3. Next we have 2 Hero Lives. Now I cut this down to 2, and it kind of hurts. I really like this at 3, but it does clog a lot, and half your life points does kind of suck when the meta is doing so much damage. But it's still a really good card, and you want to see it. Just 3 is cloggy, and if you're playing 3 of this, then you're not getting the card you need. And I've changed this build up to be a little bit less aggro and a little bit more protect the castle with Dark Claw. So I cut one of these and some other stuff for some traps, which you'll see in a little bit. But 2 Hero Lives is still a powerful card and it still needs to be played. But at 2 or 3, I understand. I understand why you'd play it at 2 or 3. 1's not enough, and you have to play it. But I can understand why anyone would play it at 2 or 3. And right now I'm liking 2, just because it's been cloggy at 3. Next, on the Searchers, 2 Ecall, 2 Rhoda. This is another thing I've changed. I cut these down just because I'm not playing enough monsters, playing enough Searchers, and I wanted to play traps. So I cut these down because this is plenty of search power, this and Shadow Mist. So I'm liking it. I'm really liking it right now with 2 and 2. So I'm trying to keep it there. I understand why 3 of each is cloggy. So 4 Searchers. Onto some more staple-y stuff. Have the Snatch Steel and the Raigeki. You need to play these in every deck. That doesn't need clarified, and I've said that many times. So we'll just keep going. 3 MSTs, because it's MST and you have to play 3 of this. Also does not need to be discussed. MSTs kind of sucks in Necro's matchup. This is the only thing I've noticed. I haven't played them a ton, but it's just not good because they don't have room for traps. And they're just a bunch of really powerful spells, which is why Spell Cancel is expensive now. But 2 Dress plays along with the Protect the Castle with Dark Hole theme. This is superior to Lance because it protects you against monster effects that target, which is almost all of them, not named Tiramisu. Yeah, I glared at Roy during that. You guys can't see, but oh well. So I like the 2 Dress. It really helps protect your Dark Claw, and Dress is just a really good card, and it's really beneficial keeping your stuff alive. Going on with the more control factor, we're playing 2 Kaiser. Shout out to Roy for this wonderful idea. But the Kaisers are they're really game breaking when you can just Dark Claw Kaiser first turn. It really hurts your opponent. They can't do a whole lot, and it just really helps to slow your opponent down. So the Kaisers they just do their job. I mean, that's what Kaiser does. But it's been a really good change, and I really like it. On to some actual traps this time. I'm playing 2 Emptiness because they got reprinted, and I'm not too poor to afford these now, which makes me really happy that I can play these. My 3rd one's in the mail these are for Teller Knights mainly, but my 3rd one's in the mail. But I wouldn't play 3 in here. I really like 2 because 3 is cloggy, but the Vanities are just really a strong card, and I mean, if you guys all know what it does. It's just really powerful. So Vanities, and then the last traps are the 4 staples: Bottomless Compulse, Warning, Torrential. If I'm playing traps, these are the traps I'm playing because they're the best ones. I've explained that many times, so I'm not going to do it again. Apologize for the briefness of this. We're kind of blazing through, but I've already explained my concepts for most of the stuff in here, and what I've changed I'll explain more of at the end when Roy asks some questions. So stick around for that. On to the extra deck. I have 2 Dark Claw. 3 is way too many. I never made the 3rd, so I'm really liking 2 right now. It's just the best card in the deck. You have to play 2 of these at least, because if they're going to try and kill it, they want this gone. So 1's simply just not enough because they're going to kill it. So 2 Dark Claw is just really good, and you have to play this card if you're playing Masked Heroes. Next, another change is 2 Acid. Now, I was playing 1 of this, but realized that nuking things is fun. Plus, it's pretty much 29 if it doesn't kill if monsters aren't blown up by Ab-Zero. It's just a really great card, and I found myself wanting the 2nd one more and more. Like, I'd be cautious to use the 1st one because I knew it was my only one, but now that I'm playing 2 of this, then I can nuke 2 or 3 cards with the 1st one and still have access to the 2nd one in case they have some more back row or playing Cliff Orts. This is so great against Cliff Orts, you don't even understand. But other Masked Hero, 1 Koga. Koga is something that even though I cut down on the aliases, I don't want to cut this because I just really like it, and it can really help get you out of some sticky situations beating over things. So I just really like this card, and it's really powerful, and it's come through clutch for me plenty of times for me to keep it in here. And it's just I've seen some people play this, but I haven't seen everyone, and I don't really understand because I feel like this should be near staple status in Masked Heroes because it's just that good. in my opinion, of course. But and then the last one I'm playing is one Contrast Hero Chaos. I'm probably gonna cut this, but it's in here for now. It's really good off Miracle Fusion, just being able to get a 3K Fiendish Chain on legs. But I don't really make it too much, but it's an option. And I like having it in here just because it really gets rid of problems. Like, I summoned an Acid one turn, and then my opponent's still charged for a Beals, and I can make this and just ram it because I can negate it. And then it's just really, really powerful, and I like it, but I could see myself cutting it in the future for, like, when Anki comes out. This is coming out for, because Anki's amazing, which I'll talk about that whenever that comes out. But Anki's amazing. I'm really looking forward to it. That's all the Master Heroes we play. On to some regular Elemental Heroes. For our light, that we can, I'm just going to go through these based on attribute. For our light, we're playing one Shining. Cut this from 2 because cut the aliases, and just really haven't been making it too much. I hardly ever make one, let alone 2. But Alias is just a really, Shining is just really good. It's 3,200 beater, and it gets your stuff back. What else is there really to say? It's a good card. Next we have Escarido. Escarido is something I rarely ever make, but it's good to make when you have like you made a Dark Claw and you have like a Shadow Mist and a Summoner Monk in your graveyard, and you want to be able to make something. And this is in here for that purpose, just being able to make something when all you have is your darks and you can't really have access to anything else. And it's the only dark that's halfway decent, so this is necessary. I like it in here just because it's a dark. Water, we have the Ab-Zero. I've considered bumping this to 2, but I find myself making Ab-Zero, like, I like nuking with this and Ab-Zero, but if I'm nuking this and Acid, I'm nuking with this and Acid, but I find myself just making the Acid anyway just because Acid's amazing, and just making this kind of less and less because I just haven't seen the need for a second one. I'm like, as I continue to play with this, I might want a second one, but right now I'm liking one. And the last one is a Nova Master. Now, some of you may be curious as to why. Shout out to Roy for trading this to me. I got it off of him, but it's also really pretty. Ulti First Ed. Good job, Roy. I'm proud of you for getting an Ulti First Ed. But this, we don't really play any fires right now. This is mainly in here because Blazeman's going to come out, and Roy had it, and I picked it up, and it's really pretty. And I was just sitting in my binder for a couple days, and I realized I play the Bobble Chain, and I make it all the freaking time. And being able to just have another target for Miracle Fusion by banishing the chain. Plus, this card's really good. Just kill a monster, draw a card. I mean, drawing cards is fun. So I'm playing this right now. I mean, you probably shouldn't play this until Blazeman comes out, but right now it's really good, in my opinion. I just like it. So definitely play this when Blazeman comes out, but right now, if you're playing the chain, like if you have one, then play this.
If not, it can be the second Ab-Zero.
Yeah, or cut the Chaos and play an Ab-Zero. But anyway, speaking of the chain, there it is. Apologize for anyone trying to get this when it was $90. I sold one of mine, made me happy. Free money is free. But this is just a really powerful card, being able to stack BLS on top of your deck, or Foolish Shadow Mist when you need a search. Just making this is really powerful. And if you can afford it, play it, but by no means do you need it. It just really makes the deck a lot stronger, in my opinion. On to some staples. I'm just going to go through all these at once. Castel, 101, Exciton, Cowboy. I mean, these are obvious. You have to play these, period. And Castel, 101 is the best. Exciton, you go minus in this deck a lot. You're playing fusions. So Exciton's really, really good for being able to do things. Won like 2 games by itself in the past, like, we were playing over here last Friday, and this won me like 2 games by itself just because it's really good. So Exciton, being able to nuke things, especially when you're going minus for your fusions, is really great. So I think you kind of have to play it in here. And of course the Cowboy, because I refuse to cut this card because I will need it as soon as I do. Plus you do put out a lot of damage in this deck, being able to get your opponent down really quick. So the Cowboy is just really good, and I really like having it in here. So that's everything, guys. This is kind of a different build than the last one. It's more of a trap heavy, protect the castle Dark Law build, which is what I wanted to go for more, because Dark Law is just a powerful card. So that's the end of the deck. If you want to stick around for Roy's questions to ask me about some of the changes I did and didn't make, then stick around and we'll talk about it.
All right, first off, I'm going to start with the changes in the deck, and then I'll get into some more questions after that. So, one of the suggestions were to play Gnomelite Gawain over the Alias. Why did you decide not to do that?
Well, you can't play Gawain. In my opinion, you can't play Gawain without Alias, because Gawain special summons when you have a light normal monster. And they were talking about expanding the Alias engine, I guess, playing Sparks and that kind of thing. And I cut the Alias down to 2 because I understood that 3 Alias without really anything else kind of was pointless, because it wasn't really... The Aliases by themselves are just a light, and that was something that made me want to cut this down to 2 and cut the third one. But cutting the Alias ended up being a good decision. I really like it. But the Gawains would be if I wanted to expand the Alias engine, and I wanted to do the exact opposite, focus more on the Dark Law, Shadow Mist aspect of the deck. So that's why I didn't include the Gawains. Although I do understand why you could play them if you wanted to expand this engine, play Sparks, Gawains, things like that.
Yeah, pardon my error on that. I meant to say take out the Bowman, that's what it was. But either way, you explained why you didn't want to use Gawain. Another suggestion was Goblinberg, in addition to Summoner Monk. Why did you decide not to use Goblinberg?
Okay, so I've gone back and forth on people with this, but if we put Goblinbergs in here, I mean, we're playing this many monsters, alright? This many. These are all the monsters that are normal summonable that aren't Summoner Monk, which if I have a Goblinberg and a Summoner Monk, I would rip the Goblinberg in half and play the Summoner Monk. It's superior, by far. No question. So, we have these 8 targets. That means we have to draw a Goblinberg and one of these 8, or a Searcher. So even if you count the Searchers, which are somewhere in here, in this pile, those 4. That's what is this, 12? 12, okay. So if we have 12 of these, I'm gonna get all these on camera. You know what it is. It's 3 Shadow Mist, 3 Bowman, 2 Alias, and 4 Searchers. Okay. So we're not gonna summon Bowman with it, obviously. That's stupid, because Bowman can summon itself. So we have this many cards that we can draw with Goblinberg. Okay. We don't want to draw our heroes. Drawing heroes is bad. You want to draw Summoner Monks and special summon your heroes. And while Goblinberg does special summon Shadow Mist, that's all it's good for. This is not an Exceed deck. It's a fusion deck, and you want to get your Shadow Mist effect off, yes, but Goblinberg just it's not good. The Rotas can search it, yes, but you have these 5 targets. I mean, you want your Shadow Mist in Grave, and Alias you want in Grave 2 to banish. You don't want to draw any of these. You want to get them out of the deck as soon as possible. So if you're playing Goblinberg, that means you're relying on drawing other cards to complement it, and I just don't like it. It's bad, in my opinion, and it's just doesn't... It's an inferior Summoner Monk, and Summoner Monk already does its job. So I just don't like it at all. I would never play it in here, simply because it's only good with Shadow Mist, and you don't want to draw your heroes. You want to funnel them to grave as soon as possible to make your Miracle Fusions live, and things like that. So no Goblinberg. Goblinberg's bad.
Alright. You can answer this part in whatever order you want, but there have been some suggestions on Mass Change Second and also for Form Change.
Okay, so Mass Change Second is a good card in everything but heroes. It's made for stupid decks like Shadol's and Burning Abyss just to be able to make Darkall, which kind of sucks, but I mean, it's a card, they can use it. It just makes me sad. But I completely understand playing it in there, but in here you go minus to swap one out, and that's just not good at all. Form Change, however, I have been going back and forth with some people on this too, and Form Change, okay, here's the card that's better than Form Change that I'm playing in my deck. This card is called Forbidden Dress, okay? Forbidden Dress does the same job as Form Change. Form Change, since this is not an OTK deck, we're playing Trapped, trying to protect Darkall. We're not trying to OTK at all. That's not the purpose of this deck. We're not going to play cards to suit another type of this deck, which we are not playing. We're playing a Control-y hero, Mask Hero deck. Alright, so this is called Forbidden Dress. What this card does, if you do not know, it says target one face-up monster on the field until the end phases that target loses 600 attack, but it cannot be targeted or destroyed by other card effects. Now, a lot of people were trying to justify Form Change because it protected your Darkall. And while that may be true, if I'm going to neg to protect my Darkall, then I'm going to neg and keep it on the field, and I'm not going to swap it out for something crappy like a Goka, which Goka is bad. Goka sucks so much. But just Dress is way better than Form Change, and that's the purpose I would use it for. I mean, if you're playing an OTK type deck, I understand why you would play it, but that's not what this is. This is a Protect Dark Claw deck, and Forbidden Dress does the job way better. And while Form Change does help you like get your Ab-Zero's effect off, I mean, if you lower your Ab-Zero, you can kill your Ab-Zero with this too. Like, you can do all sorts of things. Like, just Form Change is bad because it's only okay. So you don't want to. Let's go through the extra deck. See what we can actually use this card with. These are Xyz. We can't use those. These are our 8s. Okay. So Goku we're hardly ever gonna make, but for Form Change, that means we have to get one of these out. Okay. It can't be Shining, obviously, because then we're not gonna get our stuff back. The other 8s we're playing is these. This isn't an 8. So we have these 6 8s right now. All right. I'm never going to want to bring this thing out, so let's take that out of the pile, because this is just kind of there for an option, okay? Goka's bad, I don't want to play Goka, I'm sorry. But these Masked Heroes, Acids, if we form changing any of these isn't really going to help me. Form changing into anything else, because we don't want to form change into these. We don't want, these are just options, we don't want to form change. Well, I mean, we guess we can form change into Shining, but then we're not going to have anything to get back with it, so. The Acids you want to keep on the field just because it's big body. Like, all these are big body monsters, and exchanging one for the other really isn't going to help you. I mean, exchanging Ab-Zero for this is good, but you can just mass change it. It's like you can mass change this into Acid, so you don't need to form change for that. And then this is off of mass change you can make, and just mass change. You can make this a mass change, and this is just a Miracle Fusion target. Again, kind of goes with these over here. It's a Miracle Fusion target. And so these are your Miracle Fusion targets. You don't really want to bring these out. You really don't want to bring these out too much. These are just kind of there. And then this you kind of want to make a little bit more because it's good. But I'm getting off topic. Form Change is a crappy Dress in my opinion for the purpose of this deck, because Dress helps protect my Dark Claw without, like, I have to neg to protect the Dark Claw. I understand that. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to keep the Dark Claw there, not get something crappy out like a Goka, which would force me to play crappy cards like Goka in my extra deck, which I really don't want to do because it's crappy, as I've said. So Dress is what I'm playing instead of Form Change. If you want to play Form Change, if you still disagree with me, even though I feel like I don't understand why you would want to play Form Change. But Dress is in here for that purpose, and while I understand the OTK potentials of Form Change, I understand that it is good for OTKs. That's not what this deck is for. Okay. Next question.
All right.
Sorry if I got a little heated with you guys there. I just re-argued with people for a while about that, and Roy ended up exploding on them. But regardless.
Speaking of the extra deck, I know that you don't play Dweller. Why is it that you don't like Dweller? Because I know like everyone loves to play Dweller if they can. And I know you have a Dweller.
This is why I don't play Dweller.
Good enough answer. I've seen a lot of hero builds with
Dweller. I understand why it's good. Like, I would not, like, I understand why you would play it. I wouldn't be opposed to playing it or anything like that. Just honestly, these are the 5 Xyz that I think are the best right here. And I would rather have Dark Claw out than Dweller, and Dweller's inferior to Dark Claw. So that's my only reasoning for that.
All right. I think that's all the questions I have on the changes. Now, some other questions. How much more are you liking this build than you did before?
Oh, so much more. It's so nice because the way I was playing it before, I was playing it like a mix of in between aggro, OTK, and Dark Law protection, and that just doesn't work. I was doing too little of each one, to where I would go all out and have like a Dark Law and a Shining and no cards in hand, and then they'd just be like Raigeki, and I'd just cry because all my resources are gone. So I really like this much better. Playing the just fully committing to one type of build has really helped with the consistency and being able to make better plays with this deck.
All right, and in your opinion, how well do you think this deck will raise in popularity, considering that the only other deck that really gets shut down besides Burning Abyss and Shadows is Necros, and Necros cost a freaking fortune to make.
Well, if you go first against Necros and make a Dark Claw, they just cry. They have no outs at all. They can't. Well, I mean, unless they draw their stuff, they can't search for it if you have a Dark Claw, which means they're only playing like 1 or 2 Trish each, right? They can't search if you have a Dark Hole, they can't search with Brionic. They can't search rituals with Colossus.
Yeah.
That's what search rituals. But they can't search with that either. And that means they have to rely on drawing their stuff. And if they just draw a bunch of ritual, like draw Brionics and Colossuses, they're just like, well, I can't search, so I just lose. And you can put enough pressure on them pretty quick. Because this deck does still have some really explosive plays with things like Miracle Fusion, to where you can put pressure on them. And it's a pretty decent matchup. I've not really had too much trouble. It's not the best matchup by far. It's still a tough, like, Necros are good. Like, it's still hard to beat Necros, but I've been winning my fair share and hasn't been too bad. And like, this is kind of crappy against Cleese, but being able to acid just poops on their day, just wiping their scale and their skill drain, or not their skill drain, but just all their sacrifices and their stuff, just getting rid of everything, especially their scale. And like, if you can get rid of the scout, especially like, what makes me happy is when you have a Bubble Man and a Mass Change set, and you can just, you summon Scout, or you activate Scout. No, get rid of it. Just things like that, being able to snipe their stuff. It's just really good. So.
All right, my final question is, if you take out your more pricier cards like the Laval Chain, and you just kind of went back to the basic structure deck version, how viable do you think that is still in the meta?
So I'm assuming we can keep the BLS. BLS isn't that expensive.
Yeah, I'm assuming most people have a BLS. Or like, let's just say somebody's just starting out and they just bought 3 structure decks. How viable do you think the 3 structure decks are?
If you bought the structure decks, you're not going to have this, this, or this. And your extra deck's going to be kind of thin. These cards are really important in my opinion. The deck would still be able to function because Dark Hole is a card. This exists. The deck would still be able to function. But I make these a lot. Like the acids especially are really helpful. And I know they're like $15, which I'm sorry, I can't control the Yu-Gi-Oh market or everything would be really dirt cheap because I'm poor. But shinings are like $1. People can afford shining. This is like $2. Like, people have shinings in their binder, so we'll take that out of the pile just because everyone has a freaking shining or $1. But these XCs really help get around problems, and Evolve Chain really helps you get your BLS. Because these are the answers to problem cards. The way I built this deck, these are your answers. You don't have any in the main deck. You have to. This is the way I built it. And I understand if you don't have these cards, you have to do something else. But I really feel like these are important. But you could still play it simply because Dark Hole's a really powerful card. You're just not going to have near as much consistency, and you're going to drop some games because you don't have the expensive cards that are going to get you out of sticky situations.
So keeping that in mind, would you recommend people just starting out to pick up the structure deck?
Oh, definitely. Just structure deck, like if you just get the structure decks and make the deck out of that, it's still really decent. I mean, you're going to be able to compete with some stuff, everything is pretty much not meta, so I would definitely recommend picking it up and playing it because it's just a lot of fun.
All right, that's all the questions I have. If you like the content that you just saw, you can click over here on all these other links and check out the rest of our channel.
And if you liked our stuff, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and tell us what you thought in the comments below.